will be held after presenting all the papers. I hope our audience will carefully listen to the presentation and ask some interested questions. If you have to clarify anything, you can ask further questions from the presenters. This paper we presented is automation of Sri Lanka's downstream petroleum industry supply chain management operation. Paper presenters are Janak, Dharmaprema and Varuna Gunasekara. Varuna is presenting the paper. He is from Downstream Petroleum Storage Terminal Limited.
Thank you very much for the opportunity offered by ADU IRC 2018. So my paper is on automation of Sri Lanka's downstream petroleum industry supply chain management operations. So before we proceed, the purpose of this paper is to analyze and review the current process of supply chain management and management of the entire downstream petroleum industry, and to automate some of the operations that are currently being followed. The methods and the calculations of the equations are the same, but the gathering of information and decision-making process is being automated to facilitate the latest real-time and online decisions. So I'm from Downstream Petroleum Storage Terminals Limited. We are the supply chain and logistics company for the downstream petroleum industry. There are two players, Downstream Petroleum Corporation and Lanka Indian Oil, but both of their operations are being done. Like both companies, oil are stored at our place. We are doing the tank operations and we are delivering to their outlets by our pipelines and tank lorries. So we operate with two main installations where the oil tankers come, and these two installations replenish 12 bulk depots identified. So this is how the total operation. So we've got tank operations, we've got tank farm operations, we've got tank lorries, pipelines, and all the infrastructure related to petroleum industry. So with respect to our company, our company was formed as a privatization process that took place in 2004. And 1/3 of us is owned by CPC, 1/3 of us is owned by LIOC, and the next company didn't come yet. So the third half belongs to the Sri Lankan Treasury. So apart from petroleum operations, we do petroleum laboratory operations, and we provide SAP ERP system services to the entire downstream petroleum industry. So if you take a look at the supply chain of the petroleum industry, as I told you, we've got two places where the oil tankers come. One is the Colombo Harbour, that is the Dolphin Tanker Berth. Then we've got one of our own SPVMs 14 kilometers from the sea, that is Muthuraja. So this is the basic network. We've got one line where we've got raw products, that is crude oil being transferred to pipelines via Overworth and Subcustanta. So the refining process takes place as Subcustanta, then again transferred to Colonna via pipelines. Then we've got other places. So from Colonna terminal, we've got island-wide connectivity to the country via rail. So we have direct connections to Bandaranaike International Airport, there's Ratnayake, and that's how things take place. So the two installations are replenished by oil tankers, and they replenish with island-wide bulk depots. So that's how you get the petroleum stuff done. So with respect to supply chain management, there's a meeting called stock review meeting, which is held weekly at the Downstream Petroleum Corporation premises. That is the place where the highest level decisions are being made with respect to the amount of oil imports, with respect to the products they import, and how much they are going to do, and high level stuff. So the key stakeholders of this meeting is CPC and LIOC and ourselves. Then there is Ceylon Electricity Board, because they play a major role because we supply fuel to them, and private power plants. And the Department of Meteorology also get incorporated in this process So the basic information that is available or utilized for this oil tankering and ordering process is the forecasted sale for the following period, the demand for the products, the tank array, that is how much our tanks can hold to the products, and how our ports beer availability is, whether we can move a tanker in. So with respect to the current process that is being followed, we have identified like there are two, the information provided to this meeting is somewhat manual, although the ERP system is available, different stakeholders gather different data, there is no uniformity in the data. Say like some company takes data from Friday to Sunday, other company takes from Monday to Sunday, stuff like that. So average, one company divides by 7, one company divides by 6. So therefore, we needed a unified solution, one solution to the entire industry, and that is we are going to give it via the ERP system. And we've identified like two of the major information is not available via the SAP system, and they are being presented manually. One is the refinery production plan. What is the production plan for the refinery? So the refinery manager brings this as a document, a manual document. So we are going to automate that. Then the tank arrival program. What is the ETA of the tank? What is the capacity of the tank? When is it going to berth? Even that is with the commercial manager. So this is the current process. So with respect to the decision-making process, we have identified, we have come up with this framework to cater to support the decision-making process. One is available quantity, current stocks that we have. Next is the allege. What is the remaining space? How much can we fill our tanks? Next is the refinery production. How much is the refinery going to give it to us? And forecasted consumption. Actually, now in the real scenario, I have identified one more component into this. That is like forecasted consumption is for CEB. We are getting a separate process in there. For CEB stuff is dependent upon the weather. When they are reservoirs are filled, they don't want oil. So if the weather forecast goes wrong, we are stuck with the oil that we have imported for them. So with respect to the implementation methodology via the ERP system, this is how we tackle the situation. We do the project preparation. Then first, what we do is as-is analysis, how the stuff right now, how they are, and the 2B process, what will be the transformation process after the project implementation. So basically, what we have implemented this is what I was talking about, the tanker program. This is what the commercial manager used to carry out to the meeting. Like these tankers are going to be here at this time at Dolphin Tanker berth, delivering this much of stuff. So we have transformed it into a SAP transaction, which is real time and online. Like at the time of the meeting, most up-to-date and real-time information will be presented, and that will be used for decision making. Before that, if the meeting is on Monday, this is circulated on Friday to all the stakeholders. These tanks might have been cancelled or like that. So again, we have kept the same format for official purposes and legal stuff. Then with respect to refinery production plan, we didn't even have a proper manual document by the refinery manager. He just used to quote some numbers. Again, we are having a refinery production plan, and this once you give it to the next week, after next week you can actually go back and see how much his plan was accurate and how much it was up to the standard. So again, we have come up with a new report. So this was the decision-making document that was there for the stock review meeting for Sri Lanka's biggest logistic operation or highest costing operation. Like without petroleum industry, none of the industries, none of the stakeholders, none of the defense staff, won't be functional. So we have transformed this into again a detailed report which is real-time, online, and it gives out most relevant information. So what we have done is like refinery production plan, tanker arrivals, and whatever the stuff that is available, that is like the products, storages, allege, and tanker levels and stuff into a single report. So again, we have come up with a graph with reorder levels, and this is the minimum reorder level for a particular product. This is the highest thing that we can handle. If we go beyond this, you can't put it into our tanks. If we go beyond this line, there will be no products. So again, we have come up with a simulated stuff. Every time the curve is up means a tanker arrival has come here. If the tanker arrival is not there, it will be no petrol in 3 days. So that's how the decision making is being made. Again, with respect to that previous Excel sheet, we have come up with a new PDF. Then again, we have simulated the allages, like with the forecasted consumption. What is our storage capacity or allege after 5 days with the parameters we have inserted. So, like a tanker is like 45,000 metric tons. But the button we import is like 20,000 super diesel, 15,000 super diesel, 20,000 LAD, 92 and 95 in that combination. So currently we are ordering the products with respect to the forecasted allege. So therefore it will be, the tank won't be held without space, or we won't have to pay damages to the port authority. So it's an automated decision. So this is the automation process that I've been talking about. So about the strengths, as I've been telling several times, it's online and real-time data. And we have assured uniformity of data because our ERP system is utilized by both CPC and LIOC, all the three stakeholders. So therefore no problem with the data. And we have incorporated these seamlessly unrelated data to a single process, which is the supply chain management process, and strengthening the business process. So again, previously in the manual system, the historical data was not reviewed, or no lessons from learned from previous data. But in this, we've got a database of historical data, which will again help you in the future planning. Say for example, how the forecast was from last April New Year season can be used several times. So this will reduce the risk of product shortage and enable stakeholders to mitigate scenarios like what we faced with respect to the Lanka lady. Like stock rejections were there, they couldn't mitigate, they didn't know what to do because they didn't have the information. Right now they have a very simulated form of information, the online and real-time data, so they should be able to mitigate the circumstances more effectively. With respect to the limitations, still the ERP system cannot give you the precise tanker locations where the tankers exactly are and pinpoint how long they will be and estimated time of arrival. We can't do that through a ERP system. So I'll get to that, like we have come up with a separate application. The other thing is like any system will have defects with the input data. If you input garbage, garbage will come out. So it is all dependent on the user input. So whatever the data will depend your decisions and it will affect your decisions. So that's the solution implemented so far. So this is our game plan for the entire supply chain operations. We have done this, we have done that. We are planning on delivering a solution for peer planning, like DTB, how many tankers are there, estimated time of operation, so that we can plan the tankers and give them a slot for 2 days, 3 days. Currently, it is dependent upon weather and we have to pay demurrage charges if we get to occupy more than the time we are being allocated by port authority. So we are trying to reduce our demurrage cost by this peer occupation plan. Then we have come up with a CPSTL tanker tracker application. We are utilizing 3, I'll get to that. Then we have currently come up with online laboratory reports. Like once a tanker is here, our lab analysts are pulling out samples and we are carrying out many sample tasks. So laboratory tests. So after once the specifications are matched, only the unloading starts. So currently these lab reports, they were again manual documents, faxed and scanned and emailed. Now everything is there in the system. So this is the peer planning process I've been talking about. So we are going to still in the requirement gathering process. So we are going to come up with a tanker program dashboard. We've got a prototype, but it's not 100% sure. But this is what we're going to have for the top level management. And these are the laboratory reports. This is the manual report. Currently, it is being automated. Currently, we are working on the digital signature part. It is available via PDF. Even the loading port data are being uploaded to SAP. So before the tanker comes, we have the specification that is taken by the loading port. So this is the tanker tracking application I've been talking about. We've got a prototype ready. So we don't have a single source. There's a vessel finder website, there's a marine traffic website, ship finder website. So we are switching all of them together to get a most real ETA of the arrival. We got interested with this with respect to that Gunasekara anything. After that, we have come up with this. The prototype is ready. We are going to roll it out soon. So apart from what I have been talking all this time is about short-term and streamlining the existing process. So we are in the process of demanding the long-term forecasting and planning. So I took only two variables. We've got several variables. We are planning on to carry out a deep study on long-term planning, like in 20 years, how our distribution network, how it should be shaped, what are the tank requirements we need, what are the infrastructure pipeline, and that we have got around 9 variables. We are going to take a deep study with census and statistics, Department of Motor Vehicles, and the electricity board and stuff like that. So again, we are going to plan our supply chain operations with a deeper and more meaningful manner. So thank you very much.
Just in time completion. Six Sigma to reduce the lead time of service process. The study based on visa process and air ticketing industry in Sri Lanka. So there is RASA Pereira. Mr. RASA Pereira.
Very good afternoon to you all. I'm Janak, one of the lecturers representing from National Institute of Business Management. So today I'm here to present my research paper, which is carried out on the topic of applying Six Sigma to reduce the lead time of service process, a study based on visa process and air ticketing industry in Sri Lanka. So this is the context of today's presentation. So first I would like to start with the introduction of my research paper. So most of the researchers, majority researchers are argued that traditional management practices and tools and ideas are not supposed to address the current high competitive market demand as well as the satisfy customers' requirement in efficient manner. So therefore, so many organizations are looking forward for the strategic tools to overcome this problem. So in current business world, lean manufacturing, Six Sigma, those are the strategic approaches they are applying to reduce the waste or to make less defect items in the production process and cost reduction. So here, in my research paper, I have pointed out how we can apply Six Sigma in our business context. So Six Sigma is a project-driven management approach. So this one is originated in 1980s by the Motorola company to improve the organization process capability. So Six Sigma, in Six Sigma approach, we are using so many statistical tools to identify the quality issues and address the current quality issues in a business organization and provide a good service to the customers. So the main objective of this methodology is to enhance the sigma level. We are calculating that one by using the defects per million opportunities rather than calculating the defects per unit and identify the customer's requirements. So here, presently, so Six Sigma is applying in both manufacturing industries as well as service industries. But when we look at the Sri Lankan context, it is very less to apply this Six Sigma in service practices. So therefore, in my research, I am going to identify whether we can identify this Six Sigma methodology in our service sector. So therefore, I have selected the aviation industry, and I have narrowed down that one into a ticketing area. So this is the literature review. So I have gone through the identification of defects per million opportunities under the theory discussed under Six Sigma application and how other researchers they have applied this Six Sigma methodology in service sector. So based on the literature review, I have derived my research question. Is it possible to apply Six Sigma methodology to reduce the lead time of visa process service in air ticketing companies to increase the quality of the service? So based on that one, my research objective is to apply the Six Sigma methodology to reduce the lead time of visa process service in air ticketing service companies in increasing quality of a service. So next I would like to move to the methodology of my research paper. This is a quantitative research in Nature, and primary internal data I have gathered, obtained, and this research is considered as a case study. I have selected Kashmir Private Limited in Vellavatta to obtain my research objectives. So here primary data I have obtained from the direct observation method. So the sample, I have taken 30 application made requests for the Malaysian visa into consideration in the month of December, and the simple sample selection method is simple random sampling method that we are discussing under the probability sampling method. So here exclusive and inclusive criteria of my research paper. So inclusive criteria, I have selected only the Malaysian visa requirement, because if we consider about other visa requests, so the duration needs getting different. Therefore, we have narrowed down our research into only considering the Malaysian visa request. And we have selected the very seasonal area of December, and both walking and phone call customers are considered. So the base idea of us is to reduce the lead time. Therefore, we have taken both walking customers as well as online phone call customers. So the exclusive criteria, so one I have mentioned, and the other passport operations is not considered, and the customers, they are coming for the different requirements. We have not taken that one into our research area. So methodology, so here data analysis part, so we have thoroughly depend on the Six Sigma demand process methodology. So define, measurable, analysis, improve, control. So this is the basic of Six Sigma methodology. So we have applied that one in our analysis part. So apart from that analysis, so we have used the correlation analysis, statistical quality control, and quality tools to analyze. These are the tools that we have to use under Six Sigma methodology. So we have used that one with the limitations in our research. So here I would like to go through the demand process. So the first one, in the first stage, we have to discuss the defining stage. So under defining stage, we have prepared the CPOC diagram. So this CPOC diagram is related with, I did first one. Is not appearing. Right, here the CPOC diagram. So in the CPOC diagram, we can identify, first we have to identify who are customers, then what is the output and the process, and the input and the supply. So likewise, CPOC diagram we are applying to identify the basic requirements of our customers. So next, second one is the current process. Right, here this is the current process that they are applying. So under this chart, we can identify, the process chart, we can identify they are performing nearly 70 activities to do the to fulfill the customer's requirement. So critically, what we are going to do, we are going to reduce this one by using the Six Sigma under our research. So the next one, under defining stage, we identify the opportunities which are discussed under Six Sigma methodology, how many opportunities are there, and the time period that we are taken to process our total activities. So here it says nearly 17 days and 1 hour and 36 minutes are taken to satisfy our customers or deliver the service to the customers. So based on that one, so the further calculation under Six Sigma, we have calculated defects per million opportunity. So therefore, at the end, we have identified this current organization is running their activities or performing their business activities between the sigma level 1.1 to 1.2, that is in a lower level. That means you can identify for the million opportunities that they can find 235,061 defects. So critically, we are going to change this one. So in the hypothesis, we have identified all these hypotheses based on the flow chart that we have drawn. So in that flow chart, we have identified the similar activities into 7 and we have categorized them into 6. So based on that 6 categories, we are going to analyze our research. So in the correlation analysis, same thing, we use that classification here. So the second one, the second stage of demand process, the measurement stage. Therefore, we have to identify here we have to identify what are we are going to measure and the quality levels and the definition for that one and what type of a data that we are going to collect. All these things we have to identify under measurement stage of demand process. So the next one is the analysis stage. So in this analysis stage, we have calculated the descriptive analysis part, we have run that one. So next one, the Pareto chart we have used. Here we have identified in the current process, they have a special process. So therefore, we are going to reduce this special process by applying the Six Sigma methodology. And here in the control chart, we can identify that the current process is out of control. That means we can find the deviation in our process. So that next one, correlation analysis we have identified. So we can identify here all are positive. That means we can reduce the time period in each and every stage. So here, when we move to the improving stage, so we have identified value addition calculations. Here each and every stage, we are using. That means I told you in the present process we have identified 20 activities that they have to perform. So one by one we have to identify what are the value added activities, what are the business non-value added activities and non-value added activities. So through this process of demand or the Six Sigma process, we are going to reduce the non-value added activities. So based on the value added activities, we have designed a new process. So under Six Sigma methodology, so you can find the big difference between the previous current process and the design process. So this is the design process that we have identified 3 areas to improve in the current process. So when we look at the final stage of controlling part, in the improving stage, we have applied that one into the current process and we have checked 3 months and we can achieve the sigma level from 4.5 to 4.6 level. So that means this method is very successful, we can identify that one. So the final stage, to controlling stage, we have derived the controlling rules to control this methodology to reduce the lead time of the current process. Here you can find the suggestions and what are the activities that we are going to maintain this sigma level or improve the sigma level. So with other research areas, we can improve that one up to 6 sigma or more than 6 sigma level. So here the conclusion, non-value added activities are very high in aviation industry, especially related to the air ticketing area. And here, by applying this 6 sigma module or the methodology, we have reduced the lead time from 17 days to 9 days. Nearly it is a critical reduction of the time period. Nearly it carries 50% of the total lead time. So here we can apply, at the end we can conclude that successfully we can apply this 6 sigma level, 6 sigma methodology to reduce the lead time of the service sector, where we are not, that means we are not drawing our attention towards in service sector. So recommendations, we can say that 6 sigma level, 6 sigma methodology, we can apply that one into a service sector, and we have to think about applying this method into more service sectors. So these are the references, and thank you very much.
The next presentation is an intelligent cost optimized central warehouse and distribution road plan with truck allocation system in Lanka region for Land Rover Ceylon Limited. Presenters are EAD Janak, and Madhusha. This is Mr. Janak.
Members and the audience. I am Janak, going to represent you from Senior Campus, going to represent you an intelligent cost optimized central warehouse and redistribution route plan with truck allocation system in Colombo regions for Land Rover Ceylon PLC. Land Rover company is a leading beer company in Sri Lanka. They are manufacturing 25 types of products under the category of bottles or cans. There are 18 consignment agent bases and handling 2972 outlets in Sri Lanka. 21 prime movers for distribution process and 81 lorries for the redistribution process. Here we are doing the research for the only Colombo district. We consider the distribution process is, if I consider the Land Rover company, main plant in Viagama to the main 3 warehouse point as called the distribution process. From that 3 warehouses to the all outlets in the Colombo region, we consider as redistribution process. So this is the logistic process of Land Rover company, the inbound logistic and the outbound logistics operations. We know that transportation plays a big role in the logistic industry, and every product needs to be distributed to marketplaces or outlets. The company top management of the Land Rover company wanted to find there is optimal path, the minimizing the total cost of their transportation process. Actually, they handed over to their problem to us, with others. So we found some kind of a existing problem in their model. There is no proper transport plan. The existing one also under manual calculation, surplus and deficit of their products, unlimited fuel consumption, and finally there is some kind of a reverse logistic operation problems. Yes, we got the problem as how Land Rover align its distribution process by using central warehouse strategy in Colombo district. On that time we had 4 questions. The first one, to determine the best warehouse location in Colombo region. That is the one central warehouse we have to propose for the Colombo district. Second, we want to optimize the redistribution route plan and the truck allocation system. We want to find the capacity plan for daily milk run in kilometers. And finally, we have to check whether the existing one or our proposed one is more profitable. I think we have already know that what we have to do and what are the significance of this research, especially for the land rural campaign. From when we do this research, we have to find some kind of literature under these categories: supply chain, Hamiltonian cycle algorithms, demand management, inventory control, reverse logistics operations, and city-night deliveries. So we found the data from their SAP ERP system. As a first stage, we wanted to find the location for the central warehouse, that is using the gravity model. After finding the central warehouse location, we wanted to find, after finding that point, then from that central warehouses, considering all the outlet in Colombo region, we divided into 5 clusters, 5 main clusters. So then we wanted to find the route plan for each clusters from central warehouse. For example, starting some warehouse, that central warehouse going in some route and again come back to the same place. We are defining 5 main clusters. We used Hamiltonian cycles to base route plan, that is minimizing the distance of all route plan. We used Excel solver and the Lingo software to find the truck allocation system for each clusters. And finally, we found using those calculation what is the total milk run for outcome. The campaign top management assume that 5 times of the daily demand as their safety stock. So this is the gravity model we use in Excel solver. We use their geographical positions to find the best locations using the Excel solver. And this is the linear programming model. We got the idea about what are the truck allocation, existing number of trucks in their redistribution process. Under the category of 900,000 trucks, 550,000 trucks, and 300,000 trucks. So then, through their demand points means if I consider the Colombo region, we will consider one demand point, considering some near outlets as one. We consider few outlets as a one demand point. So then we identify 35 demand points in Colombo region. We divide into 5 clusters. Then we have already the number of trucks assigned in the redistribution process. So then using the linear programming model with the help of the Lingo software and Excel solver software, we could find how to allocate their truck allocation to get the minimizing value for each clusters. So then this is the structure for that linear programming model. For example, if I consider the cluster 1, from starting that new facility location, again come back to the new facility location, this is the route plan. If I consider all the 5 clusters, the sum of all the kilometers will be 220. That is the in kilometers for daily milk run in kilometers. So I told you there was 35 demand points. We found the best location using the Excel solver for new facility. We could save 26 kilometers per day. We used only 13 trucks, but for existing models they used 16 trucks. We could save 4,18,000 rupees under the category of for cost of warehouses. For salary and wages, under that category, we could save 5,60,000 rupees. Finally, from our proposed model, we could save 13 lakhs per month. So we handed over to the Lion Brewery company, top management. So we happy to inform you that they, after that getting all the results, they already started their realigned process of the transportation planning. But we had some kind of a limitation of this research. We done only for the Kalam region. Why? If our research is success, we supposed to arrange the same research for the other district also. We didn't consider shorter distance outlets, and we used the Google Map values. And we didn't consider the time factor, condition of night distribution process, and we assume that there is no any additional barriers while delivering goods to the outlets, and demand is not rapidly changed. So those are the key references we used. Happy to inform you that the one was our Vasanta's research. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a nice presentation. We will have question and answer session.
So my topic is about the analysis of factors affecting passenger satisfaction and service quality in public transportation in Sri Lanka. This would be the content where I will be talking about the introduction, methodology, experimental design, results, and then the discussion and conclusion, which I have already conducted the research on. And everybody knows that transportation is something developing day by day in the current world, and it is a derived demand which arises as a result of the demand for another good or a service, which includes the movement of goods or a service via a point of origin and a destination using a mode of transport. Transportation enables production, manufacturing, and development of trade relationships, as well as the movement of people across countries. And then again, when talking about the public transportation, it is a shared service available for the general public. In most of the countries, it's a service provided by the government. But in Sri Lanka, the public bus transport service is provided both by the government sector as well as private. And then the rail transport service is solely provided by the government sector. But then again, the public transport service is considered as one of the least appealing aspects in our country, as it has many discrepancies, such as it being unsafe and unhygienic, as well as it's intensively crowded, and also the unavailability of seats and other facilities for the disabled. And efficient operation of public transport can be considered as a key factor for the improvement of living conditions in a country. Moving on to the research problem, the congestion is one of the main problems that have hit the urban and suburban areas in the country, mainly in Colombo, Kandy, Dampa areas. So, the congestion is as a result of higher vehicle usage or as higher private vehicle usage, which arises due to discrepancies in the public transportation, where people tend to move towards use of private vehicles. And this model shift towards private vehicles results in a higher number of vehicles on the road, which further results in congestion, increase of time taken to travel between two locations, and then the increase of fuel consumption, increase of emission rates, and also it affects the economy, society. Simply it affects the economy, society, and the environment. These are the research objectives, which includes to find and analyze the factors affecting passenger satisfaction and service quality in public bus transportation, as well as in public rail transportation, and then to identify how the identified service quality factors affect the transport development in our country, and also to identify the areas of improvement required in the public transport sector in Sri Lanka. So this research would be beneficial to the service providers, economists, policymakers, as well as the environmentalists to identify the gap between the quality of service provided as well as the quality of service demanded by the general public. And also through that the auxiliary services provided in rail transportation services such as the availability of restroom, availability of food can also be improved, as well as the government can get an idea about the overall perception of the general public regarding the public transportation, and the bus owners, bus and rail service providers as well as the government can identify what are the service quality factors that need to be improved in order to attract more passengers to a public transport service. The study would also be beneficial to other researchers and academic writers to conduct their further studies. Then coming up to the methodology, I have conducted a primary data collection. I have done primary data collection to conduct the research, and data was collected using a questionnaire, where the questionnaire was prepared based on the so-called dimensions of Parasuraman, and then the questionnaire was also prepared based on published studies, in-depth reviews and brainstorming. And the population for the research is the public transport users in Sri Lanka, which includes both the bus transport users as well as the rail transport users. And simple random sampling technique was used in the study, as it was easy to assemble the sample through using the simple random sampling technique, as well as it gives each member of the population to be selected into the sample through that. And the sample size was 300. Data analysis was conducted using different tests, including reliability tests, which identified the internal consistency of data, and then a descriptive statistics analysis was conducted to identify to analyze the demographic variables, where I have taken into consideration the demographic variables, age, gender, and the purpose of travel. And a chi-square test for association was conducted to identify the relationship between the demographic variables as well as the passenger satisfaction on service quality in public bus and rail transport services separately. And then a fact analysis was done. Finally, through Krushkalwale's test, a hypothesis testing was conducted to prove the factors considered in the study affect the public bus and rail transport service satisfaction. So, exploratory research design techniques was used for the study, where the problem was identified first and the situation is analyzed, and the research questions are defined through which the objectives are generated. And in the study, I have taken into consideration 24 service quality factors under public bus transportation and 22 service quality factors under public rail transportation. The service quality attributes taken into consideration are the independent variables, and then the dependent variable for the study. There are two dependent variables for the study, which includes the level of passenger satisfaction on public bus transportation and public rail transportation separately, with the categorical variables highly dissatisfied, 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 not dissatisfied, satisfied and highly satisfied. Then moving on to the results of the study, through the reliability test, the Cronbach alpha value was 0.937 was obtained, which showed that there is a higher internal consistency between the data. And in the descriptive statistics analysis, it was found out that 60% of the population, 60% of the respondents were male, whereas 40% were female. And majority of the population, majority of the people who have responded are between the age group of 15 to 25. And also it was found out that the people tend to move in a rail than in public bus transportation. The satisfaction level in public rail transportation is higher than that of public bus transportation. And through the high-square test, it was identified that the public bus service is dependent on the variable purpose of travel, whereas public rail service is dependent on the variable gender. And through KMO and Bartlett test, the test statistic value obtained was 0.972, which showed that there's a higher relationship among the variables considered. And through a rotated component matrix, the identified service quality factors were further factorized, and the two factors obtained were, the factor number 1 was bus passenger satisfaction. The 24 service quality factors were further categorized into the so-called dimensions: tangibles, reliability, responsiveness, and assurance and empathy. And then done the hypothesis testing to find out whether bus passenger satisfaction depends on that particular factor. And it was found out that all of the factors considered affects the level of passenger satisfaction in bus transportation. And then the second factor is rail passenger satisfaction. Same as the bus passenger satisfaction, the factors considered affected the rail passenger satisfaction depends on the factors considered. So moving on to the discussion and conclusion, it was found out that there is a considerable dissatisfaction among passengers about the current transportation service in our country. And as discussed earlier, the 24 service quality factors affect the service quality in bus transportation, and the 22 service quality attributes discussed under rail transportation affects the service quality in public rail transportation. And through this statistics, it is proved that the rail passengers are less dissatisfied of the rail transport services than the use of bus transportation. And the service quality factors identified through the studies were also further proved through our research. And it was proved that most of the bus passengers are satisfied of the bus fare, but certain quality attributes such as the use of travel cards were rated as highly dissatisfied, which we can say mainly due to the lack of knowledge among the users, the general public, as well as the lack of knowledge and utilization of the particular thing like travel cards by the relevant authorities. And these are some recommendations where we could improve the public transportation service, which includes operation frequency to be increased, and number of buses and trains operated during peak hours should be increased, as well as technological approaches should be brought up into the industry, such as use of travel cards, and comfortability should be increased in both the buses and trains. And another important factor is the crew employed should be qualified and trained, as well as should impose strict regulations and should operate on properly managed schedules. There are few limitations for the study, which includes that the sample respondents were subjected to different beliefs and different attitudes. And then again, the sample size was limited to 300 due to the time and economic constraints. And due to time constraints, the data was collected mainly only from 5 locations, such as Petra bus stand, Petra railway station, then Malade, Varuna and Anuradhapura bus stands. And then data collection was performed from 8 am to 10 am in the morning and from 3 pm to 5 pm in the afternoon. These are the references. And then I would like to thank my research supervisor, Ms. Dirukshi Hevage, and all the other lecturers at CINEC, as well as my dear parents and my brothers for helping me conduct the research, as well as all the respondents who helped me to make this a success. Thank you.
Thank you. Logistics and transportation. Now it is the time for questions. I will repeat the title of papers. The first paper presentation was done by Mr. Varuna, Gunasekara. Title was Automation of Sri Lanka's Downstream Petroleum Industry Supply Chain Management Operation. Second paper presentation was done by Mr. Pereira. Applying Six Sigma to reduce the lead time of service process. A study based on visa process and air ticketing industry in Sri Lanka. Third presentation was done by Mr. Janak. An intelligent cost optimized central warehouse and redistribution route plan with the truck allocation system in Colombo region for iron brewery. The last presentation. Analysis of factors affecting passenger satisfaction on service quality in public transportation in Sri Lanka, done by Ms. Suryavandan. Now it is the time for questions.
The presentations. My first question is to the first presentation. From the presentation, actually, what I understood was it is something like you are doing at the moment. I could not understand what actually what you have researched and what was your research question and what you found actually. Now what I understood was what you are doing at the moment in your organization. Can you just clarify the particular aim of the study and what you have found? Yeah, that kind of thing.
Mr. Varuna said.
Yeah, that's right. Petrol information.
We have investigated the current proceedings and how they are doing, like what are the information that is actually required and what is being utilized at the stock review meeting for supply chain operations. So we have come up with a framework like these four things are really needed and how they have come up with it. Two of them, one is the refinement production planning. Like it's they just the refinement gives out the number. Like they know methodology how you are reducing it and what is the level of how it is affecting it. Like seemingly in the normal operations, it doesn't seem like it has anything to do with supply chain operations. So we have come up with a plan, like we have incorporated the method, like this is essential and this is the way to do it when we have provided the process. So again, the next thing is the peer availability. Peer availability is like the commercial function is they are just ordering tanks that they don't seem like it is a real process that they are connected to the entire supply chain and the product available. They are just doing their jobs on their own. So we have come up with a way to do it. We have formed the process and that process has become standard and it is transparent to other sectors and different stakeholders. So we have identified and cleared out the existing process and formalized the process, and then the next thing is like we have made the data uniformity existent. Like what I've said, like for daily average, what is the daily consumption, CPC things like they take from Friday to next Friday and divide by 6 because Sunday is off. For them they think that is demand. For the other companies they take the Monday to Sunday and divide it by 7. So we have established some remarks, established some framework so that they could follow on. So previously it was just an Excel, how we are doing it. He's having another idea, he's having another idea, and nobody knows when the tanks are coming and what they are supposed to do. So we have bring all those stakeholders and taken the inputs, especially from Ceylon Electricity Board and inputs from Meteorology Department, and we have incorporated them. Then we have established a mechanism to record the data, decisions taken at the meeting to record them, and so that in the next, so it's like in January meeting, we can go up to next 6 months time and see how it has been done. So we have established a recording system of data, we have allowed historical data formation and storage, analysis, and the next thing is like we have facilitated we have automated the future allages and storage levels and consumption with respect to the days to come.
And you mentioned that some of the operations are based on weather condition.
Yeah.
So how it happens actually in other part of the world, I think developed countries they don't consider about this as best practice.
Yeah.
Why that is happening actually?
Actually, for the petroleum industry, CEB is our customer. So it is our duty to supply the fuel when they require for it. But the thing is monsoon may come, may not come. The meteorology department may predict that it's going to rain in the first 2 weeks of May, but it may not happen until June or July. So anyways, we are bound to supply them with fuel. So what we are doing is we are going with the prediction and storing fuel oil and stuff. Like last 4 years, it has gone wrong 2 times. They have predicted drought, it has rained, and we have got excess fuel. And one time we had to export the refining production. If we knew that earlier, we would have stopped the refining production, going to other things. Once there was occasion, we have imported oil for CEP, they are not taking it, and they are exporting it back. So it's not a costly operation. So we are currently doing it we are planning a framework between CEB and CPC to have a quota. Whether it rains or not, you are supposed to buy this much amount of oil from us, and they will have some alternative plans, maybe for cultivation, maybe to deal with national water supply and drainage board, and we will have a quota system to that so that we can mitigate the issue.
Okay, thank you. I have one more question to Six Sigma. And usually what we understand is 3.4 defect for 1 million in Six Sigma. But in your case, what we understood is 1.2 to 1.5, something like this. Or
Yes, that means current one is 1.4. That is in less. That means we can find so many defects in the production system.
yeah.
So we are going to reduce that one. If we reduce the defects per million opportunities, then our 6 sigma level goes up.
So our standard level is 3.4. But in your sample, you understood that 1.2, something like that.
The 6 sigma level is 1.1. So that is the current process. That means here we can identify there are so many defects per million opportunities. Right? That is our sigma level is low level. So if you want to reduce the number of defects items per million, then our sigma level goes up.
Yeah.
So the best practice is 6 sigma.
Yeah.
So actually we cannot achieve the 6 sigma as it is, but we are going to increase the sigma level.
Okay.
So in my case, we can find after applying that critical decisions we have taken, then we can increase up to 4.1. So it's not up to the best practice, but however we can increase the sigma level, that means we have reduced the number of defects items. That means defects per million opportunity.
Yeah, but in your case, actually, you have only taken 30 samples, no? 30
Yes.
applications.
Yes.
How possible that is to test calculate for 1 million and forecast
No.
1 million application within 30?
No, that means we can take the amount, few amount, we are converting that one to million opportunities under that 6 sigma methodology.
So how many transactions are happening per month in that company?
50 in that particular month, we have observed that 50 transactions has happened, and out of that one randomly, by using the simple random sampling method, we have taken 34 hours study.
Thank you.
It's also kind of a defects. That's why.
You consider that as a defect.
Yes. So if you are getting late, that means if you are taking more much lead time, that is kind of a defect in the service sector. That means it defect to the customer satisfaction. So defects in the sense that means that defect to the customer satisfaction in production system. If we find a defect product, that defect to the customer satisfaction. In the service sector, we cannot identify the tangible things. So this is the intangible one. So we have specific quality dimensions to measure the service sector. So in that quality dimension, we can find the speed of the service providing speed. So here we have considered the lead time is kind of a defect when we are carrying out.
It means the variability.
Yes, variability of the providing service to the customer.
How can you derive that kind of recommendation just based on these 5 service code dimensions?
There are 24 service code factor and the bus transportation and 22 service code factor and the data described. So that includes certain factors that would be related to, such as properly managing the schedule, the buses are not coming on schedule, and the rail are not operating on proper schedule. So these quality factors are also included.
Yes, in the survey or somewhere?
Yeah.
Again, maybe occasional passengers who are going some trip, long journeys and those kind of things?
Mainly I collected from those, but then again I sent through Google Form as well. I sent some, and then again through my friends I collected some data as well. So not only the data that I collected on my own, I gave the questionnaire and collected usage through my friends as well. So I collected on those particular.
Have you differentiated the level of satisfaction of those two categories, maybe the daily travelers and the occasional travelers?
No, so I didn't take that into my scope. Didn't consider
I think
that part into my scope.
that may be a good finding because the long distance passengers and the short distance passengers, they may have different kind of satisfaction factors. We are doing the research further. You can look at that aspect also. Highway passengers, short distance passengers, long distance passengers, maybe there are different requirements. Then according to that, I think government and the transport companies should provide the facilities.
Thank you.
One question for the Coca-Cola presenters. I have two questions actually. One is that with the you have get the approval, you have got the approval from the company to tell their names and what the internal details actually, because it's a kind of very sensitive case. Have you got the approval?
Last year also I did that kind of research for the Varuna company, but when the company is different, their structure is different. We have some kind of same features there, but we can find out some specific feature. But after the presentation, I couldn't be doing that kind of get the information.
Because if you are using that real data to affect the company's name, and they might have some because they might have some competitors, and they might get those negative points, and you just try to you have that keep in mind. And next one is actually you have done the modeling in the Colombo area.
Yes.
Why did you focus on the predict the behavior in other areas or other provinces? What difficulties you have to model that actually for other areas, long distance areas?
Actually, after we did research and we handed over to the research results to the top management. So then they started to do some kind of arrangement considering our results. So actually we didn't have some kind of invitation for do the further research. So if we have a result, some kind of invitation, then we will going to start that.
Any audience?
These four suggestions are more practical, oriented when you compare with the previous one. And I have a few suggestions to improve your studies further. And first one regarding the downstream the petroleum automation. And actually I think even having the ask the same question actually, because we were wondering what is the research there, like what is the problem. So then if you can focus on that, to tell the problem, and then you have a solution, then what is the outcome? So because we are not presenting the problem and the outcome. So then what is happening now? What is the output of your model or your what the proposing? Then what is the significance like that? So then if you can incorporate that part, that can be wonderful research. And regarding the lead time, so actually again the same concern about the sample in size actually 30. So then you have 0 to 30, how to generalize that one, right? So then that is one problem. We have to think about that one. And another one, you know that you categorize the process for the activities. Do you follow any particular process or the procedure to categorize that one?
We have identified the civil activities what they are performed.
Yes.
After that we have categorized.
So then how do you categorize that? So based on what?
Based on the nature of the activities they are performing. For example, the inquiry stage. So inquiry stages, filing stages, and checking. They are checking so many times. So here we can find sometimes they are checking more times.
So then if you can apply kind of scientific methods for categorizing that one, or now you have done something, maybe you can support what you have done, that is correct or not. So again, the quality we need to do that. like that, you find in a percentage how you categorize, how you do that. And third one regarding the line crude company, I think if you can present the current situation and the output of your model in a one graph, for example, what is the existing cost and what is the reduction of your cost like that. So then the reader can get understanding that.
But in the last slide, I showed you that what is the cost and what is saving cost.
Saving cost, yes.
So I think
Like
you are going to be
each day we can reduce by 25 kilometers or something like that.
Yes.
So then that's costing you 1 month. So that if you have like a period of 1 month and what is the existing cost?
Yeah, I do that.
Reduction, if you can put that one, so that will be good one. And again, regarding the last presentation, and you were telling that your sample is random actually. So when explaining, I realize it's not random actually. Because without knowing the sampling frame, actually we cannot get a random sample. So what we have done, we have taken a convenient sample. So therefore, in the paper, we need to mention that you didn't select your sample based on random technique. You select based on a convenient sample. Because you don't know the sampling frame. So therefore, we can't take a sample, random sample.
You should have a list for the
Very much you get random.
list.
And other thing, you were referring 6 factors actually. Did you derive those factors or you borrow from the literature? 6 factors?
Yeah, I borrowed from
You
the-
borrowed.
Yeah.
Then what is the role of the factor analysis? If you borrow from the literature?
No, I factorize the factors that the attributes I obtain, and then we can't find out by using the single factor. We factorize accordingly. We factorize on 2 factors.
So now what you did? So then you look at the literature, you borrowed 6 factors.
Yeah.
Okay, so then those are 6 factors.
And
Then you did a factor analysis.
Yeah, and then the service that the customer satisfaction came under 1 factor.
Okay, actually, so in that case, actually, we have to mention like that, you did the confirmation analysis. Just to confirm whether what is the literature available or not. So therefore, mention that part and follow that confirmation analysis. So then again, you can do that. Thank you.
Okay.
Some clarification of the ultimate.
Yes.
Then you find the coordinate of the center of gravity.
Yes, it's kind of the I-code.
Yeah. Yeah, you assume that it's a y coordinate. You get a place that is available for you. Have to have a distribution center.
It's available there. Then we have, you ask me that sometimes we will have.
Usually you find some place that place is not available to you. It's owned by somebody else.
Yeah, actually that we can at something we done another research by considering separate for bottles and the can, and we got the positions near to the line product campaign. So then we have some kind of problem with practical issues. Some of trucks drivers are not like to deliver from that point to the after proposed point. But if you sometimes considering the whole scenario, we have a profit. But considering some kind of a small cases, we will have some kind of practical issues. But considering the whole scenario, we are located at that point for considering all the demand point in the Colombo region.
Yeah. Where you found did you find the place?
Yeah, that near to the barrier, that near to the Calanio, I put the coordinate in here, but I can't measure the real town city.
Problem with that method is you assume that any location is available to you, go for the XY coordinates. But reality is any location is not available to you.
For centralize the distribution.
Yeah, to centralize those. The location is owned by somebody else, and some buildings are there or some occupation is there. But real situation is alternative places are available. One thing you can do is you can find the central place and again find the alternative area. From those alternative areas you can optimize your plan.
Yeah, we have to get the we have minimizing the
Yeah, you can minimize that.
yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah, I understand.
Any other questions? Very nice presentations. Basically, the papers were very good. In addition to the traditional survey type research, there was some developmental research. Not only finding the problem, even the solutions were developed. And I think you have implemented, two of you have implemented the solution, and their solution also going to be implemented. I hope by taking the comments you can get the comments made by the audience and improve your solution further and present to the organization. Thank you for, and also audience for listening. And anyway, we didn't have much questions from the cadets, but staff had asked very good questions. Thank you.
The end of the technical session 3 of Management, Social Sciences and Humanities, based on the theme of Professional Excellence in Supply Chain Management.
We now have the honor of inviting Professor Dharmaprema, the chair of the session, to present the certificates to the presenters. R.A.S.A. Pereira, D.G.M.D. Janak, C. N. Surya Bandara, thank you, sir. So please remain on stage. Now we would like to invite Doctor and Humanities to present the token of appreciation. Thank you, madam.